If you've got a call booked with me or you're thinking about it, watch this first. Because I already know the questions that are running through your head. I've already had this conversation with a few hundred financial advisors. And honestly, you guys all ask me the same 7 things. So instead of making you pull them out of me during the call, I'm gonna answer all 7 right now. And by the end of this, you're gonna know if we're a fit, if we're not a fit. So you can either cancel the meeting you have with me, or you can attend the meeting, and we're gonna save each other 20 minutes. So quick context so that this makes sense for you. I run ads for financial advisors. So I will go into your Facebook profile, I will put up advertisements, and I will get leads for your business. Those leads will be funneled through Go High Level, which is a CRM, which we use. The CRM is an AI CRM that automatically books qualified appointments into your calendar. We ensure their leads are qualified by having our messaging dialed in, by having our landing pages and surveys and forms disqualify people. Before I get into it, I just want to identify that there's 2 types of agencies. There are lead generation agencies and there are retainer-based agencies. So lead generation agencies, pay-per-lead agencies, will sell you leads. So, whether you pay $100 for a lead or $1,000 for an appointment, they're selling leads that they generate in their own house. So in-house, they generate their own leads, and then they put a markup on that lead and they sell it to you as if the lead is a product, right? And the leads, of course, they're not guaranteed to close or anything. They're just putting the appointment on your calendar. And then there's another type of agency, which is the type of agency that I run, which is a retainer-based agency where I'm gonna build the entire system out into your business, the entire marketing engine. So what's the key difference between the 2 agencies? It's that the pay-per-lead agency generates a bunch of leads from ads that they run. And the problem with that is usually the way that they get these leads in is through like a tax hack. It's like, oh, you wanna save tax? Opt in. And then when people get to the call, what I've heard from many advisors is they're like, hey, what you got? And that's not what we want, right? What we want is a plan that is personalized to the person that has opted in. And that's why you need to build your own market. You need to build your own system. You need to have your own data, because as soon as you leave this agency, they will own everything. They'll own the data, they'll own the page, they'll own the CRM, you're left with nothing. And then you're left scrambling to find another agency to generate leads for you. But what does a real business do? A real business runs their own marketing. Another worry that I hear is the cash flow. So I get that you may have a cash flow issue and that $5,000 to $10,000 may be a big lump of money to put up. I've had advisors tell me, I've got the money, but I want to manage my runway. Fair, that's why we have a split pay over 3 to 4 months. We also have other financing companies externally that we can leverage to pay over 6 to 12 months. So the question on our call isn't really, can I afford it? It's, do I believe that this can get me at least 1 good client within the pilot program? And if the answer is yes, the math already works. Another objection that I tend to get is that you've been burned by another agency. This is the big one, and if that's you, it's your right to be cautious, and props to you for approaching another agency after being burned, because agencies have their place, but there are bad actors out there, right? I actually talked to an advisor recently who paid an agency $7,000, was promised 5 leads a week and got 3 leads a month. And the leads were other salespeople that were pitching him. I talked to another who tried 6 different providers in 2 years. His words were, none of them understood who my customer actually was. Apparently they had run generic ads, had wasted his sales team's time, and half the leads were garbage. So let me tell you exactly why that happens and why it's different. Most agencies don't understand financial services. They sell you the same funnel they sell a gym or a roofer. They don't know what a deemed disposition is. They don't know what retained earnings mean. They cannot write an ad that $1 million business owner would take seriously. I only do financial advisors, and we've done plenty of research, and we do research with every single client. It starts by scraping Reddit, LinkedIn, AngelList, X, wherever your customer is hanging out. And we're looking for the actual pain points that they're projecting out into the internet. So whether it's about estate tax, the small business deduction clawback, withdrawing from their RRSP, fees at the bank, whatever it is, we're gonna build the ads around these pain points, and we're gonna reverse engineer them into selling points. And there's 2 things that actually protect you by working with us. First of all, every lead gets qualified twice. In the ad itself, we're gonna call out the business owner. Hey, if you have $1 million plus, this is for you. On the landing page at the top, it's gonna say that this is for business owners with $1 million plus, or whoever you're targeting. And in the survey, a 3rd time, we will disqualify anybody who does not have the traits that you requested. Additionally, there's a conditional guarantee. So if you do not get the result that we've discussed, so let's say you don't get 1 client within the 3 months we work together, conditional to the fact that you have spent money on ads, you have called every single lead, and you've done the things necessary, then we will work for another 3 months for free until you get the result. That's how confident we are. And I can't really make it any more fair than that. So another thing I get asked is, does this actually work for my situation? I get asked, okay, but my situation is different. You may think it is, and it probably is, but we've dealt with it before. Maybe you sell corporate-owned life insurance. Maybe you're a wealth manager. Maybe you're a portfolio manager. Maybe you're a tax strategist. Maybe you're a certified financial planner. Maybe you do succession plans. We've dealt with it all. Or maybe you're at IG Wealth Management running a family office. Maybe you're at Manulife. Maybe you're at Sun Life. We've dealt with every single advisor across Canada at every single firm. But the system always stays the same. It's predictable. Number one, we do the research. Number two, we script the ads. Number three, we film and edit the ads. Number four, we set up a backend with landing pages and CRM follow-ups, AI follow-ups to get you calls booked. Finally, we have reporting, we have consults with our clients to ensure that, hey, are the leads receptive? Are they qualified? What can we do to improve performance so we can hit your goals over time? Now we split this system up into two sides, the investment side and the planning side, because let's be real, they're very different. And we have different templates and processes for each because the pain points are also different. So for example, if you're selling somebody corporate-owned life insurance, the pain point is tax. Whereas if it's wealth management, it may be returns, it may be product pitching instead of actual advice that is applicable to their situation, not applicable to what product you're selling. And fees are a big deal, right? So what are they getting for their fees, etc. You know this, I don't need to tell you this. But what the call is really for is we're gonna nail down your situation, your target market, and we're gonna find out exactly what we need to do in order to craft a good message to put out for this prospect to contact you. So when you ask, have you done work for anybody like me? The answer is yes. Is it gonna be exactly the same? No, there's a lot of variables. Your geographical location matters. Who you are as a person matters. Maybe you work with someone $1 million plus, or maybe you work with 200K plus revenue. Of course, it depends, but we've worked with someone who does your service before. Regardless of the situation, we're gonna show you an example of another client who does what you do, and we're gonna show you the results behind that. What we get a lot on these calls as well is, let me think about it, or send over the info. This is the one I wanna be the most honest about because it's not really about thinking. You're not gonna go home and sit down at your desk and start taking notes about, should I do this? Let's be real. You're not gonna do that. You are way too busy to be sitting down thinking about some marketing guy you talked to last week. When someone says, send me the info and I'll review it, this is usually what they mean. You can tell me if I'm wrong. What they always almost really feel is this really gonna work? Or I'm not sure about the money. Or I have to run it past someone. Let's just handle those on the call directly so we don't waste any time. If you need to show a partner or spouse or business partner, bring them to the call. Please don't show up to the call alone. Let's have everybody on the call. I've had sons bring their dad. I've had advisors bring their wife or wife bring their husband, partners looping in partners. I'd rather answer every single question directly while every single decision maker is in the room rather than having to play telephone tag with everybody. And if it's the money, we already covered the payment option. So if you can afford at least $500 a month in payments, it shouldn't be a problem. And if you genuinely need to review something specific, tell me before the call and I'll prepare it for you. And usually when I ask, what do I need to show you? They say, well, I want to see the process. And of course, we're gonna show you the process on the call in great detail. So the slowest path with the most time wasted is if you attend the call and we don't talk for 2 weeks and nothing happens. Lots of people, they say, oh, well, I'm shopping right now. I'm going through many different agencies. We'll pay you $500 just to not take those calls and just to work with us. We'll give you a discount. So each call that you don't attend and you end up working with us, we'll give you $500 off of the price. Another thing that we tend to hear is, why don't I just build this myself? Well, why haven't you done so already? Because you don't know how. And I know some of you are sharp with this stuff. I had one advisor who had built his own Reddit scraper to pull pain points out of Reddit and to, start marketing his stuff. It was genuinely impressive and he wanted to do it all in-house. But this advisor, he was already at 100 million and he had actually considered leaving the industry because he was tired of it. And he was just playing around with this stuff as a hobby just to stay in the business because he got bored. So if you're watching this video, you probably don't have the time to do what he was doing because he had already scaled to 100 million and he wasn't necessarily at a certain bottleneck, he was just bored, right? He almost left the industry. And if you are somebody that is very handy with this stuff, Let me tell you something. You can do it yourself. It's not magic, but you got to ask yourself what your time is worth. You're a financial advisor. Every hour you spend learning Meta Ads Manager, debugging Go high-level automations and tinkering inside the software, hiring, directing videographers and editors, writing copy that converts, all those little tasks are hours spent that you could have spent getting on calls with prospects. The whole point of this is leverage. The total time from you is about 6 hours to get this thing set up. We do the rest. So we're gonna have a discovery call. We're gonna have a strategy call. We are going to have you film everything, which is gonna take roughly 3 to 5 hours. And in total, it should take about 6 hours in the first month to get this thing set up. From there, we're rolling. So that's the first month. The second month is where we see, okay, what's working, what's not working. How can we keep running the ads that are working and reiterate those and make more of what's working, and let's not do what's not working. Then month 3 is going to be scaling up to your goal. So if you want 5 appointments a week with high net worth prospects, perfect. If you want 10, perfect. We're going to scale your ad spend and your ads up to that point. So more spend equals more ads. So at the end of the day, you're not buying software that you're gonna half learn. You're buying back your calendar and 18 months of your time to figure out how this stuff works, because it does take time to learn this stuff. I did it myself. So if the project excites you, yes, you can do it yourself, but just be willing to accept that it's gonna take you 18 months to learn it. Or you can just hire us and we can teach you how to do it as well in our weekly consult. So another objection that we tend to get is, Willem, this looks great, but it's not the right time. This is what we hear constantly, especially now because it's summertime. And look, sometimes it's real. It's like, okay, we're going on vacation. We genuinely cannot dedicate 6 hours right now to do this, even though we would be able to get ahead of our competitors before the fall. And if you genuinely have zero bandwidth to take these leads into your calendar, I get it. But be honest with yourself on one thing. The system runs whether you're busy or not. The ads run, the follow-up runs automatically for 7 days, and a lot of appointments will self-book onto your calendar. In fact, one of our advisors had an 86% self-booking rate.
So working with William on this marketing campaign has been very rewarding. Initially, I was quite skeptical about this idea, not knowing if the results would come in or if the program can break even. Soon after we started the ads, leads started coming in and I was speaking with quality clients that are precisely what I was looking for. I have been recommending this program to my friends and clients as I do find this very helpful to my business.
We had another client who signed $5 million in 3 months.
Yeah, so I closed the deal yesterday. I went through everything with the lady, second appointment. The lady signed, she had a 1.5 million AUM.
Right.
So she saw my ad, something appealed to her. She clicked, we had a discovery call. She actually booked her own time slot. 1.5 million, signed. Easiest process, little resistance, like no resistance.
If you're a corporate life insurance advisor, financial planner, an investment advisor, if you simply close one big deal, you can cover the cost of our program. No phone work whatsoever, just prospects booking onto his calendar without him having to do anything. The ads ran, went through the funnel, filled out the survey, books a call into his calendar. So the I'm too busy excuse doesn't work whatsoever, because we're actually saving you time while helping you get more revenue in the door. You're not attending networking events anymore. You're not doing cold calls anymore. And you're not solely relying on referrals. You have leads booking onto your calendar. Yes, you're paying for it, but how much is your time worth? Is it worth $100 an hour? Is it worth $200 per hour? Because if it is, you're currently wasting it on tasks that are not $100 an hour or $200 an hour. And that's what we're gonna fix for you. The leads are never gonna get cheaper. The advisors that wait 3 months longer are gonna be behind the advisor that starts today. So waiting is never gonna benefit you. And if timing is truly your concern, before you get on our call, let's actually put a date together that is solid and real, where we can actually plan this thing out. Now, here's the big one, compliance. What about compliance? Our compliance is strict. We've worked with almost every single compliance department in the country. We've worked with Manulife, we've worked with IG Wealth Management, currently working with Sun Life. We know how to work with compliance departments. So if we need to get on calls with your compliance department to figure out, okay, is this compliant, is it not? Of course, we'll do that. But we know what compliance wants. Compliance wants you to not promise anything. Compliance wants you to put a good brand image out there with a disclaimer at the end of your ad. They want to put your logo inside the ad. They want to just be compliant. So here's how we handle it. Everything goes to your compliance team before we go live. That starts with the scripts. Of course, we're gonna send the scripts first before we film them, because otherwise the footage is gonna be a waste. The ads and the landing pages will also be sent to compliance. And if your firm doesn't want to talk about a specific topic, that's fine. If you got flagged for talking about, for example, corporate deductions, we're just gonna build the campaign around RSPs, TFSAs, or general planning instead. And then when they get to the call, you can bring it up. The framework is flexible. The topics are yours to choose. So compliance is not a reason to not start, because we can always figure a way around. Even one time we worked for Scotia McLeod and they couldn't run a funnel whatsoever. So we generated our leads in-house and we just gave them to the advisor. There's always a way around. We are very flexible. We're a lean team of 3 and we have 15 clients. We're very flexible about what we can do. And you're gonna be working directly with me as well. So compliance is not a reason to not start. It's just something we have to bring into the timeline. So bring me the requirements on the call and I'll tell you exactly what this means and how we're gonna work within them. So those are the 7 most commonly asked questions that financial advisors ask me on the call based on 30 calls in the past 30 days. So that's price, past bad agencies, does it work for me? Let me think about it. I'll do it myself, timing, and compliance. If you watch this whole thing, you already know more than most people walking into our call. And you probably noticed that I didn't dodge a single question. Here's all I want from our call. Come with the real questions, the honest ones, the thing that's actually on your mind. Because I'd rather tell you this isn't a fit for you straight up than waste your time. And most of the time, once these 7 are off the table, it's a fit. So if you got a call booked, that's great. See you there. If you don't yet, the link is below. 4 questions, 60 seconds, that's it. Either way,